Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Showtime and Sidelines. I know it's been a while, I think over a month, and that is because I have been doing a little bit of traveling. I've been working a lot because I'm broke and I have to pay rent, so I haven't had a lot of time to, talk about this award season and some movies that I've seen, but the Oscars are this Sunday, and I had to get my predictions in before the weekend came and before the show. What do I think's gonna win? What do I think's gonna get snubbed or fall flat at the award show? Obviously, there's been some very entertaining races, like the Best Actress race and also the Best Actor in a Leading Role race. So I'm very excited to see who wins, but here's my predictions. So I am just going to speed run kind of a lot of the technical awards and the, short film documentary awards because unfortunately I wasn't able to catch all of those. So I'm just kind of predicting based off what I've heard. There's not really a rhyme or reason to most of these, but here we go.
Animated feature film, I have The Wild Robot winning. I wasn't able to see it, but I've heard it's great, so that's what I picked. Animated short film, I picked In the Shadow of the Cypress. Honestly, that title just sounded cool to me, so I think we're going with that one. Documentary short film, I went with I Am Ready Borden, which I have heard a lot about. I don't know if it's won any precursors or anything like that, but I've heard about it, so it must be making around somewhere. Live action short film, I went with I'm Not a Robot. I actually have heard about a lot of these, but that's the one that I've heard the most about, so I just went with that one. We'll see what wins there. Very exciting stuff. Next, visual effects, I'm going Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That one's kind of just like my heart prediction, like I just love that movie, and I don't think it's actually going to win, but I really hope it wants to win an Oscar. That would be so fun. Sound, I went with The Wild Robot. Again, haven't seen it, but I think it'd be a cool one to win, especially against all these live action movies. Production design, I'm going with Wicked. I think the Oscars are going to love a lot of the technical stuff with Wicked. Original song, I'm going with Alma from Emilio Perez. Original score, going with Wicked, which is stupid that it's even nominated, but we're here, so that's what I think will win, unfortunately. Makeup and hairstyling should go to the substance. International feature film, I'm picking Emilio Perez, even though I think it should be I'm Still Here. I think just with the amount of nominations Emilio Perez got, even though I think probably a lot of voters are turned off to it by now, I think it's still going to win international feature. Film editing, I'm going with Conclave, because that movie's like tight, it's quick, it's engaging, especially for like a movie that honestly, like, I could see not being super entertaining to people of my generation, kind of like Gen Z. I was really locked in, and a lot of my friends were, and maybe that's just because we love movies, but I think, the editing of that movie is a very, very strong point of that movie. Documentary feature film, I'm going with No Other Land, because I haven't seen any of these, but I've heard a lot about that one. Costume design, I'm going with Wicked. Again, I think the Oscars are going to love Wicked's technical ability and everything that they did in that movie, so I'm going with costume design there. Cinematography, I'm going with The Brutalist. I think it should be a Brutalist. If it's not, then I would say Dune Part 2 or Nosferatu. I did love the cinematography in Maria, but it's only nomination, so I don't see a world where that wins. Pick Emilio Perez, we can cancel the award show and never do it again.
Okay, so that was the speed run of all the technical categories and stuff like that. Now, adapted screenplay. This is probably the easiest prediction anybody could ever have. It's obviously going to Conclave. It's won everything else. And yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say besides Conclave's winning this. So let's move on to original screenplay. Here, it's honestly going to be a tight race. There's a world where Anora wins because it has won some precursors, but then, A Real Pain is kind of right there with it. The only reason I would maybe think Anora might sneak out A Real Pain is because it's nominated for Best Picture, it's nominated for directing, it's nominated a lot of other places at the Oscars, and that might help its case in this category. Personally, I am predicting A Real Pain to win. I think it's a good moment to give Jesse Eisenberg an Oscar. I think it's the most screenplay-ish movie that's nominated, where honestly it could be done on stage somehow and it would probably still work. That movie is its screenplay, and so that's why I kind of think A Real Pain is winning. I know it's not nominated anywhere else besides Kieran Culkin, but I do think it's going to win Best Original Screenplay. It won at BAFTA, and I think that was a big win for it, and it's won a lot of other smaller precursors. So I think A Real Pain's winning here. If my dream were to come true, it would be The Substance, but unfortunately, I don't see that happening with Anora and A Real Pain fighting for the top spot, and I'm picking A Real Pain. Next, we're going to get the supporting races out of the way because these are pretty simple. For actress in a supporting role, I have Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez. That's my prediction. That's not necessarily who I want to win. If I could pick, I would go with Felicity Jones, but I think that Zoe Saldana winning every precursor is pretty evident that she's going to win at the Oscars as well. And of course, it's the same story with Kieran Culkin for actor in a supporting role with A Real Pain. He's gonna win this award. He's won every precursor. He doesn't even show up to the award shows, and he still wins. And he's gonna win at the Oscars and probably give a crazy speech that's gonna be very divisive. If I could pick, it would be Yuri Borisov and Anora. I think that's the strongest supporting performance of the year, but I understand why Kieran Culkin's winning. Next category is directing. I think that this is going to Sean Baker for Anora. I would be shocked if it didn't, because the DGA stat, I think, was the last 9 out of 10 DGA winners went on to win Best Director at the Oscars. It's obviously between him and Brady Corbet, but I think that Sean Baker in the past few weeks has gotten a lot of good wins, and I think it's really upped his chances of beating Brady Corbet. If Brady Corbet wins, I won't necessarily be shocked, but I will be surprised because that DGA stat has really turned me on to Sean Baker winning this award. This category is a two-way race, and I think it's going to go to Sean Baker. I'm going to do Best Picture next because I think the actor categories, the lead actor categories, are a little more exciting. So for Best Picture, I think it's going to Anora. That's what I'm predicting. There's a world where it goes to Conclave. If maybe people were split between Anora and The Brutalist, or these Oscar voters were split between Anora and somehow Amelia Perez, I think there's a world where Conclave sneaks through and wins, and that is like its only win besides like maybe film editing. I think that would be the biggest shock of the night and very surprising, but I think there's a world where that happens. Now, I do really, really strongly think that it's going to be Anora just because of the past few weeks of the precursor awards, but it'll be an interesting race. I am shocked, honestly, that The Brutalist has fallen out of it. I think probably it's the whole scandal with the AI that has turned people off to it, and the reason why it's losing a lot of these precursors since like the Golden Globes. But that's what I would pick to win Best Picture if I was a voter. But Anora's a great pick. It's definitely probably the second best movie of the year behind The Brutalist, so that's fine by me. That's what I think's going to win, and that's what I'm predicting. And finally, we have the actor and actress in a leading role. I'm going to start with actor because I think it's a little less exciting of a race. Here, I'm going with Adrien Brody for The Brutalist. I know Timothée Chalamet had a big win at SAG and a great speech, but Oscar voting was done, I think, right before BAFTAs or right after BAFTAs, and I just don't see Timothée Chalamet losing all the precursors besides SAG, which has a huge body of voters from like TikTok influencers to, real actors. I don't see Timothée Chalamet winning SAG as a sign that he's making a second push for the Oscar. I think it's going to go to Adrien Brody for The Brutalist. I think it should go to Adrien Brody for The Brutalist. I think he had the best leading performance of the year as an actor, and I honestly think if I were to pick a second, it would be Ralph Fiennes. So I really don't think that Timothée Chalamet is going to win. I thought that he did very well in A Complete Unknown, but I just think there's more exciting performances this year, and I think that Adrien Brody puts on a generational performance in The Brutalist, and he really should win. If there's voter fatigue from him winning an Oscar before, that would be bogus, but that does happen, so that's the world where I see Timothée Chalamet winning, but I do think it's going to Adrien Brody. And finally, we have actress in a leading role. This is probably the tightest race at the entire ceremony. It's obviously between Demi Moore and Mikey Madison. Fernanda Torres is definitely in there at third, and it's probably closer than people think. But I would be shocked if at the end of the day it's not Mikey Madison or Demi Moore. Demi Moore had some great wins. I think she won 3 of the 4 precursors, and Mikey Madison won Critics' Choice. Makes me think that it's going to be Demi Moore without a doubt. That's who I'm predicting. But there's a world where Mikey Madison sneaks in and wins, especially with all the success that the film Anora has had in the past few weeks, winning, Best Picture, Best Director, Best Writing, and all these big awards. Mikey Madison is that movie. So if this wins Best Picture, why would you not give the movie the acting award too? She is that entire movie. Her performance makes that movie Best Picture. And so I see a world where people say, you know what, I'm picking Anora for Best Picture, which means that I'm obviously going to pick Mikey Madison for Best Actress. I think Mikey Madison's performance is probably better than Demi Moore's, just on a technical standpoint, but I totally understand why Demi Moore would win, especially for the substance. It's a movie that is probably near and dear to a lot of aging Hollywood stars, and obviously aging Hollywood women stars. And Demi Moore has never won many awards throughout her career, and this is kind of her moment to win the Oscar. It's not like she's had a billion roles where she should have won Oscars, but she has had a very iconic career and very legendary, successful career. She is a certified movie star, and so it would just be a great moment to, tie her whole career together and capitalize it with an Oscar. And I think that's what's going to happen. Fernanda Torres also gives an incredible performance in I'm Still Here, but I just don't see her winning. She wasn't nominated at SAG, and so I just really don't see that happening for her. It is a great performance. In any other year, honestly, it could win Best Actress, but when a race is this close between two very prominent performances of the year, I don't think Fernanda Torres is sneaking in there. However, I wouldn't be shocked if she did. But I am predicting Demi Moore to win the Actress in a Leading Role Academy Award. So that is a very quick, very fast, off the rails prediction for the Oscars this Sunday. Let me know what you think, what you agree with, what you disagree with. If there's anything that you're really hoping gets a win, or if I was just completely off on any of the technical or documentary or live action short films or animated feature and short, and I'm just completely off and don't know what I'm talking about. Let me know, and I will see you guys in the next one.